Okay, you just have to find the guy who's on TL and hit him right between the eyes. Now every lane and jungle is smurfing, so it becomes a lot harder.
Okay, shooting one guy in the forehead with a slingshot when he's 7 feet tall,
doable.
Pretty tough. 5 of those guys.
That's tough.
I hope you got plenty of rocks. All right, we'll see how many rocks Disguised has tucked away in their pocket for this one as we do get into draft for game number 1. It's Nocturne, Akali, and Olaf, who we've seen rising more and more in popularity, even to the point of being able to be blind picked.
Lock. Might be a lock angle with the Akali ban, because that is up and available, and I know that is a matchup. Quid did play; he's still our only lock play, but that is a matchup that he was talking about not wanting to play lock or thinking it wasn't a good angle specifically because of Akali. So I was interested to see if that would be something that could open the door for them then, but it is instead just going to be Ezreal, most popular marksman here on the patch, and has been just really staying at the very top.
And it feels like, it's a great answer into the mage bot lanes. It can kind of just survive by itself. You still have the sustained damage of an AD carry as the game goes onward. Levi and Cassiopeia banned out by the Disguise side as they will lock in Jayce and Kai'Sa as their response.
I do really like it, though, because even though Ezreal is obviously super meta, Ezreal is really powerful, it is the best champ for Sajed, Kai'Sa, right? Like, this is his best performing champion. I think it is not even a debate. He always looks really, really good on this champ, and he is getting himself a decent matchup against the Ezreal. That is always a champion that people love to pick into that matchup. So pretty good here for DSG. And we have Srtty. We're presuming it is going to be that Jayce top here. Srtty on a range champ has been laning very well and has been a really big threat, I think, for DSG in a lot of their, even though they only have the 1 game win, he was popping off in Vayne. And in the 2 other games where they actually had significant gold leads, he was also playing carries top and was a big part of creating that lead.
And you remember like last year when Srtty was making his big push to number 1 on ladder by a significant margin, it was because he was dominating lane. It was because he was having these powerful lane picks that he'd take over the game with. So the Jarvan, the Leona locked in here for the front line, for the engage of Team Liquid. Meanwhile, Kai'Sa is going to get her longtime companion as the support there, the Nautilus, locked in for Lyonz on Disguised.
Yep, going to be able to have a very easy go button here. With Kai'Sa, with Nautilus, with Jayce, you obviously have the ability to lay down some poke and then potentially look for those all-ins. And it is going to be probably more jungle bans coming out here from TLAW. And on the other side, you are expecting potential protection bans up in top lane. Could look for that as an angle. Obviously, Jose already has his jungle pick, and he's been receiving a ton of attention in pick ban, in general, like all the way from MSI and last split. It has been pretty common to even see him take 5 mans.
I mean, the Lee Sin against Josedeodo has risen to the same levels as like the Ziggs against APA.
Yeah.
Teams just will not let him play.
I think higher, almost it feels like. Because Ziggs, at least you saw opportunities where teams are like, we're going to let it through because we have a counter pick and things like that, right? I think about like Palafox LeBlanc versus it. I think about, options like that. And it feels like every single team is just banning Lee Sin no matter what against Jose.
Because what's your counter pick? What are you going to do to him when he's all over the map, constantly finding angles, constantly making plays? Everybody just does not want to deal with it. But into the second half of the draft we go. Bans coming in. It's double AP solo laners removed by DSG as the Rise and Rumble are out of the pool. Meanwhile, Team Liquid going to target that jungle pool. Like you're saying, Jose's already got his pick. Seeing that KryRa still has yet to choose, they're going to get rid of the Wukong, and Locke will be the final ban here for TL. I feel like generally with champions that have a riskier archetype like Assassins, it's much easier to pick them the later in the draft that it goes, and more of what it's going to specifically have to play around.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. So they are going to be banning that out. Mel, I'm not really going to believe. Naafiri, I think, does fit the bill. Naafiri, alongside Kai'Sa Nautilus, you are looking for more dive. Naafiri obviously going to slot in pretty easily there. And DSG is at least maintaining the threat of a flex on this Jayce, that it could be top, it could be mid, so you have to watch out a little bit and maybe not get as easy of a counter up on that top side. Potentially here for Morgan, because if you go anything a little bit too crazy, then they could just flex Jayce mid and and you get into one of those situations.
Yeah, then it can start to turn a little dicey. So Team Liquid, what do you have in store? What is going to be the answer here? And it looks like K'Sante will be picked against the Jayce. So just a tank to absorb some of that pressure. K'Sante, we know he lanes so well into pretty much everything. Just scale to play more and more for that big front line as the game goes on. Team Liquid's front line is massive in this first draft.
Yeah, Syndra was kind of what I was thinking here, simply because it is a pretty safe blind. There's not any real true tank yet on the other side, so it is going to be fairly effective. They need some damage. They need some safety in the mid lane. As you said, very, very tanky, a lot of front line, but you need that second carry. So Syndra, Ezreal are the carries. A lot of range here on the TL side. Really good setup. And a lot of CC between Jarvan, K'Sante, Leona, Scatter the Weak on a ton of pretty squishy members here over on the DSG side. And they're just going to full send it with a dive. You got to respect it. Callme going for the Yone. So this is just a full-on dive comp here, looking to get in onto Syndra, who is going to be the easier target by far. Oh, yeah. Ezreal is pretty evasive, can be very difficult to lock down, but of course, you cannot arcane shift away from the Nautilus ult. It is going to be following you, so they do still have the chance to try to look for that dive onto Yeon. But that being said, if you go in a little bit too far as that Yone, as that Naafiri, you can easily get point and click CC'd here by the Leona, and you're probably just going to get burst down.
And also for Naafiri, she kind of has that same issue versus Ezreal that something more traditional like a Vi does, where once you press the ult, you are going in. So if he just uses the arcane shift, gets back closer to his team, you can find yourself in the middle of everyone where you do not want to be. So pressure will be on KryRa here to make sure that he has that proper target selection, can try to find access to those value targets in Quid and Yeon, get past all these meatballs here in the front line, but it's far more easier said than done going up against Team Liquid. These guys, we called them 5 Goliaths at the top of the day. They're all playing individually so well, but even more so, they're so on the same page. Their game plan, their team cohesion, they're just always moving as a unit, and it's really difficult for their competition here in the LCS to be able to keep up.
It really has been. And you know, it's interesting because I think coming in, you know, especially coming off of last split, you know, we'd been seeing the improvement of teams like FlyQuest, you know, split over split. We have C9 who have been so dominant in the regular season. So it was, I think, to a lot of people looking more like that 4-horse race. And right now, it is feeling like it is TL and Lion, and that is it if you're talking about winning the title, right? Those are the only teams that feel like they're truly in contention right now, and everyone else feels as though they are battling to kind of get up into that level or to just fight for that third world slot, because you know currently it is hard to imagine a world in which TL and Lion are not two of our top 3 teams at the end of the split, but there is still a lot of League of Legends left to be played, and teams can still catch up and potentially surpass where they are. Also worth noting, Fleet Footwork buffed on this patch. Callme is playing that. And the Tier 3 Merc Treads were nerfed, and Tier 3 Berserker Greaves, plus as well as the I don't even know what the name is when they're actually upgraded.
The Gunmetal Greaves.
Gunmetal Greaves. The Greaves in general. Yes. All are getting 5% attack speed. So those were a couple things that people were thinking were going to help Yone and Yasuo potentially, you know, quite a bit as far as, you know, mid lane champions. And Yasuo, of course, can be played top as well. And so he's using Fleet, and I'm expecting he'll probably go in towards Berserker Greaves, but maybe feeling like with Leona, you still need to go for those nerfed Merc Treads regardless.
Well, let's check what our junglers are doing here at the start, as both of them are going to start at the top side of the rift, path their way down towards bottom lane. Means we might get something kind of explosive once they get their way down there. Considering you've got Leona and Nautilus as your 2 supports, there's always the opportunity for junglers to try to come down there and make some kind of a play when the gank setup is guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it does have a lot of power there. You know, we touched on, obviously, the fact that TL and Lion looking like the top dogs, and we've been using the dog tier list quite a bit, so we can, if you haven't seen it already, we can check in. So here's where we were with the dog tier list. You know, we have DSG down on the Chihuahua tier. But I have been thinking that even at the top, that dog is not big enough for TL
not a big enough
and
dog.
Lion.
It looks like a pretty big dog.
It's not a big enough dog.
Okay.
They have been separating themselves from the pack. We have updated and upgraded the dog. And now I feel like this is more. It is the Chad Doge. This dog can be just bench pressing those other dogs. This dog is looking strong.
I don't know, but I don't know if that dog's all natural. He might be up to some.
He's enhanced by Koreans.
Activities in the locker room. That dog's looking a little too strong.
Some performance-enhancing kibbles for that dog.
Some PEKs. He's having a great time. Well, we do have a dog in the mid lane here with KryRa, too, who is not going to get slowed down there by Quid. Does go ahead and immediately use the call to pack to get out of any potential damage. But yeah, he just drives by, throws out a Dark and Dagger, whatever.
Going to be going up towards that top side. TL had Prow on bot side, so he knew he could not actually fight for that scuttle there. Leona was moving, so just crosses through. Obviously not really looking for a gank so much as he is just getting across to be able to grab that topside scuttle. As much as we've been watching Quid just poke and prod and hit Callme over and over and over, Callme was chilling. He's even on farm and going to be feeling really good about that situation on that first base. And it is Quid playing Storm Raider Surge. Obviously a lot of utility there, but it is going to be less power in the laning phase. You know, more about being able to escape in these team fights, being evasive. And we'll see if that does pay off later on. Because, you know, since he's not playing First Strike or Airy or Comet or anything like that, you are obviously a little bit less powerful in that early 1v1.
Right, exactly. The trades are going to have just a little bit less every single time. And if you're trading frequently, it does add up eventually to make it a little bit less scary here early on for Callme to maintain that presence in the lane. Just keep his farm nice and close with Quid, which you can see he's doing perfectly fine right now. Would be down only 1 minion if Quid farms all 3 of these, as Callme just continues trying to keep the pressure on. And we can see our junglers just going through their second clears here again after those first recalls. Meanwhile, up there in the top lane, it looks like Morgan is having no trouble whatsoever laning up against Srtty's Jayce. Push currently in favor of the Team Liquid top lane.
Yeah, and Srtty clearly is looking at this as a farm lane. I don't think he's playing it to dominate. He went tier coal refillable as his first buy, right? So you're basically saying we're just going to be scaling, and that is how I'm going to play it.
Ooh, nice follow-up there from Josedeodo as Quid finds the scat of the week on Callme to get this quick trade started. Now, of course, Callme doesn't have to spend the flash to get away from that one, but Ezreal, he's knocked down to 200 HP, and remember, both these guys have already teleported back into the lane, so Callme in a pretty rough spot now with Quid getting that unleashed power.
Yeah, exactly. That is the real fear, but Callme was well aware of it, that he would be down XP because Quid had the push there, and Callme himself was about a minion away from getting 6, so he knew he had to back up, wait for it at the tower, and they're going to look.
Okay, Lyonz rotates over, but so does CoreJJ. Lyonz going to hit the dredge line, so just a little damage onto Quid, but its core is there. They can't try to pursue any further. If Callme went in, he would die instantaneously, guaranteed. So unfortunately, Lyonz just has to try to protect his mid laner here, allow Callme to farm up whatever he can, as we do see both junglers now also making their way over. KryRa stepping up here is CoreJJ, going to get hooked in by the dredge line. He'll be the first target, but again, as soon as they know it's an even fight, Disguised has to back off. They need an advantage with their jungler being this low on, or with their mid laner, excuse me, being this low on HP.
Yeah, they absolutely do, but he is slowly sustaining up. KryRa playing around with fire a little bit here, and Lyonz could be in trouble.
Oh, yeah, CoreJJ starts this one off. Lyonz already very low as the unleashed power goes in. Callme positioning aggressively here to prevent them from killing off his supporters again. Josedeodo looking for KryRa. Finds the quick combo with the EQ. Nobody dead on either side. Still, despite it being a 3-man party from both teams for the last minute.
Yeah, honestly, I think at the end of the day, that was very well handled by DSG. Even with Morgan moving down, DSG obviously we're never going to get that topside scuttle. But Srtty got to push in, reset the wave, goes up 10 CS, and like I said, he is playing this kind of early scaling buy with the tier call, goes back, buys serrated Dirk. Callme at the end of the day was able to catch pretty much the entire wave. He lost a couple minions, but he was protected well enough that he farmed well and now has a wave here at his tower to pick up. So Callme in a pretty good spot. Srtty gets a nice little edge on the top side, and we are dead even here through the first 7 minutes. Obviously still very, very early in the game, but DSG has shown us a number of times that they are pretty capable in some of these early games.
Yeah, Disguised, not giving TL anything to just start running away with the game early. I feel like a lot of the times, kind of that mandatory first fight that you see in almost every game is at the Rift Herald. So if I can see a team keep the game even till then, that gives you a really good shot of at least being able to bet the game on your hands, you know?
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the one big issue for them is, of course, the advantage that Yeon and Core are building. And sajed and Lyonz have really just struggled in their 2v2s. This has been a thing all year long. They are just, I think, the worst 2v2 laners in the league. You know, they are kind of getting rocked in some of these 2v2s. And I feel like against Yeon and Core, the expectation is you go down.
Yeah, Morgan going all out here, forcing the flash out of Srtty. to get back away from the K'Sante. So despite the fact that Srtty does have the one meaningful advantage so far on his team, he still does respect the pressure from Morgan as soon as he uses that ultimate. So Srtty without the summoner spell, this could be a potential target for Josedeodo.
Yeah, it absolutely could, but at the same time, Morgan now has to be a little bit careful because the all-out is gone. Srtty can play much more aggressively at this point. Does have to be aware of where that Jarvan could be, and I think he's playing pretty safe until KryRa is going to be up on those topside grubs. So now Srtty knows he has a little bit of coverage, so he's going to be able to play a little bit more forward in this lane, and we'll see if that can get him anything, because Srtty really does need to have a good game, I feel like, for them to have much of a chance here.
Yeah.
He's been doing well. Like, he's actually been laning really, really aggressively. You look at 4%, he is #1 in 4%. He is #1 in damage per gold. So that is basically how efficiently you are using the gold in team fights, in 1v1s, and so on. And his damage per minute is second behind, I just believe, Thanatos, if I recall correctly. But he's performing quite well, and I feel like everyone thought he was deserving of a real shot after he came in, but Callme could be in some trouble.
Yeah, Callme, there's your wombo combo. Quid sets it up. Josedeodo only has to contribute the flag plus the drag, and that just means the rest of the damage is put in there by your Syndra. It took a little while, but it is Team Liquid who ultimately find first blood here 9 minutes into the game. And that money does go over to Josedeodo after all, so Quid doing most of the work, but Jose getting most of the money, as Jose has to run now, has CoreJJ right next to him with Lyonz and KryRa potentially looking to make something happen here. There's your Solar Flare, not going to get the stun onto Lyonz, but Zenith Blade ready to follow it up. And with the rest of the team right behind him, CoreJJ leads the way to kill #2 here for Team Liquid, and Quid does get the money on that one.
Yeah, nice pick, and sajed now.
Oh no, sajed in some danger. Has to use both summoner spells just to get away. Needed the cleanse, needed the flash, still barely hanging on to 1/3 HP. Callme is back alive, trying to make his way down here into this bot side river, but Quid just easily fending him away, protecting Josedeodo as he does take the Drake. This was a pretty big sequence here for Team Liquid, Ezreal. Right as we were talking about how Disguised is doing a good job just keeping the game nice and even, nice and quiet early, Team Liquid found their moment to pounce.
Yeah, they have been playing this very well in the last couple of minutes. Basically, in the last 3 minutes, they went up, a good 1,500 gold. That entire lead was created over the last couple of minutes, and it kind of all started here with Callme getting tagged. And this is one of those situations where, yes, it is a little bit of a nitpick, but also you need to be able to buffer CC, you need to be able to flash something, and he just didn't expect it, gets tagged there by the scatter. I think when he snapped back, he needed to immediately, try to ult and try to immune some of that CC or try to early flash, but he did neither, and once he gets hit by the scatter, you're not going to avoid the flag and drag, you're not going to avoid the Cataclysm from Jose, and it becomes a pretty easy kill, which snowballs into another.
And honestly, that was just beautiful pathing from Jose. You saw the observers showed us that small little bit of fog he had to walk through between KryRa's vision and the control ward in the side brush of mid lane. Jose walks it perfectly. Callme had no idea he was there, and ultimately that results in the first blood. So 1,500 gold lead for Team Liquid, just about 1,000 of that on Quid there in mid lane. And now here's that pressure I was talking about on Srtty. No flash available on the Jayce, means Cataclysm is a death sentence. Josedeodo applies one last swing of the spear, and that's kill #3 for TL.
Yeah, really well done there, Jose. Maintaining that 100% KP. KryRa was looking for something around mid, but Quid was just standing back behind his turret, knowing that he could be under pressure. And now KryRa looking for a little bit of scrap, but not going to find much of anything. And again, CoreJJ first to move here, is playing around mid, and TL feel like they are fully in their comfort zone at this point.
Yeah. KryRa came up looking for a fight. Jose punched him in the gut and walked away. There's just nothing really that the dog can force there. But now, Callme again, just trying to do something to get in Jose's way. But as soon as Callme snaps back, okay, now you're in a losing trade with Quid, who's honestly putting on some serious lethal threat here. He tries to flash over the wall. Callme fail flashes it, has to use the Fate Seal to get over, so he barely lives. He's low enough HP that he has no presence in the lane. He's got no ult, he's got no flash. Times are dire here in mid lane for Callme, who does use the Soul Unbound to sidestep away from the Scat of the Week. KryRa again trying to cover here for his mid laner. Callme has to snap back. Lyonz rotated over to mid
Look at
again,
Sajed, man.
but it just seems like a whole lot for a whole little. DSG aren't getting a lot.
I mean, Sajed was getting fully zoned off his tier 1, walked all the way back to the tier 2, then was recalling under the tier 2, gets ulted by Core to stop his recall again, loses another wave off the back of that, and they're stacked the wave to freeze it against them. TL looking to fight.
Okay, TL are in the enemy jungle, trying to contest over the Gromp, but now CoreJJ goes in with a Zenith blade, looking for the kill onto Lyonz. Call the pack from KryRa, keeps him alive, but Lyonz can't say the same. The Nautilus already down 4-0. Team Liquid 3,000 gold lead. Quid making his way down to the bottom lane to help clear out the waves here. Josedeodo trying to stop the escape route as KryRa and Sajed try to escape. Jose leads the charge towards the enemy AD carry. That Kai'Sa's down to 200 HP, and Jarvan just auto-attacked him 4 times and pressed Q.
Holy, this is crazy how Jose and Core play together. They, to me, are by far the best jungle support duo in the league right now with how they are playing together. It has been insane. I think back to the match against FlyQuest, and it's kind of reminiscent to this. Remember Masu and CryRa just getting chain dove, Jose just showing up behind the tower, zoning them off waves. Once Yeon and Core create an advantage, they're so adept at actually extending that advantage through this coordinated play with Jose, getting in the opponent's jungle, getting vision down, and just never allowing the AD carry a moment to breathe, and now they're looking top.
Yeah, now it's Srtty in trouble again. Morgan tries to go for the flash into the Pathmaker, but Srtty ready with a response flash of his own. Creates the distance to survive. You know if he gets caught there by the Pathmaker, he gets all out of the opposite direction. He's almost certainly dead, so Srtty luckily staying alive. Srtty still the 1 point of power for Disguise, the one man on the map who's not behind this role.
Yeah, he's the one man that is not behind, but it's not looking that powerful. We'll say that.
He got Serpent's Fang. He's got an item.
He does. I'm not saying he's doing bad.
That's
I'm just saying direct your eyes to mid, to bot, to jungle.
Don't worry about those places. We're talking about top. We're talking about Srtty. Those are other places. Those aren't on our mind. We don't need those.
Yeah, the problem is the other places are coming to you.
No,
there's a mid laner in the top lane. There's a jungler in the top lane. There's a support in the top lane.
Yeah, it's fine. Totally cool.
It might not be, but you know, for now, it's fine.
Might not be. Probably not. Almost no chance that it's fine, but you know. Okay, down here in bottom lane. This time, it's Morgan now squared up against Callme. Goes for that third and Tofo strike, hoping he would step back into it, but not quite going to do it. Instead, it's just Josedeodo and Yeon stepping forward. Callme was, unfortunately, just way too far away from his turret there. You could see there was at least 2 inches of space between him and the structure, so got punished for that little bit of an overextension.
Yeah, Gunmetal Greaves, the 5% attack speed, surprisingly not enough in that situation.
Yep. That fraction of a dagger does not quite pay for a tower defense in a 1v3 as the True Shot Barrage is fired from Yeon. Josedeodo just stealing away the blue buff from the enemy jungle. Disguise, they're trying to get the Rift Herald, trying to see if they could at least take something here off of the map, and it looks like they should be able to secure that one, considering almost all of Team Liquid's firepower was around that bottom lane, getting the kills, getting the turret there to follow up. Now the problem with them getting this Rift Herald, Ezreal, hold on. Callme going in, finds the stop on the recall on Yeon, but the Soul Unbound is just going to take him right back to where he started. Yeon's exhaust makes it so Callme can't do enough damage to secure the kill.
Yeah, the exhaust is going to keep him safe, and Jose on Pros was talking about how they are treating scrims in this split versus the other splits. He was talking about in the past, they were basically just playing to win scrims, right? And even in a game in this example, he says, we'd be up 50-3 in kills, and it's like, what can we improve here? Like, what are we learning, right? We're just killing them on repeat. We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And this split, they've been playing to improve, not necessarily just to win.
Ooh, nice catch there from Lyonz. The dredge line lollipopping at the very end of the range to catch Quid at that maximum distance. Srtty's right there for the follow-up. And now the Jayce with the 1,000 individual gold lead going to get a little bit more. Remember, it was all 3 grubs for DSG early, so he's got that extra pushing power. But here comes a TP. Morgan has returned to the top lane as Josedeodo and KryRa square off behind Team Liquid turrets. Srtty's going to get himself caught as CoreJJ has plenty of CC to set this one up for Morgan, who grabs the kill into Srtty. KryRa is just taking the car home. He called the taxi. He doesn't want to be here anymore. The bed is calling. He's going to sleep because he does not want anything that Team Liquid's bringing to the party. Josedeodo goes in. KryRa, however, dodging away from that EQ combo with the call. The pack stays alive for now, but the Herald was not able to be used for any sort of a siege because it had to be summoned as an escape mechanism. Now it's cleared away. Now Morgan is back up underneath that tier 1 turret. right there on the top side. Sajed gets grabbed by the Zenith Blade, immediately popping the cleanse to get away from the follow-up CC of Team Liquid as CoreJJ goes in the blast cone over the wall, and KryRa with a Hound's Pursuit chases after him, ends up having to get back out of the fight. Yeon flashes away from Sajed. Defensive Solar Flare coming out from CoreJJ, guaranteeing Team Liquid's escape.
Yeah, a lot of summoners being spent there by TL as, Lyonz tries to catch Yeon, but cannot connect, and now Jose back in. But at the end of the day, they do not die. It is 7-1, 3,000 gold lead, so it has shrunk a little bit, was up over 4K, but TL still very clearly in control. And I want to bring this quote back up because I just thought it was very interesting, you know, talking about the focus on specific things. Like, they're drilling specific things in every scrim, not just playing a, you know, kind of as mindlessly, if you want to say that, and just focusing on winning and getting kills. They are focusing on their setups, they are focusing on their coordination, on their dives, and you can see that, I feel like, in the game.
And now you can see CoreJJ going into the middle of 3, wants to lead the charge. Beautiful scout of the week, ready to follow it up. Fate Sealed counterattack comes in from Callme. Disguise might have brought more men, but it's Team Liquid fighting better. Callme tries to get away, immediately has to snap back. Another multi-man use of the scout of the week is going to find 2 more kills. Morgan with a flash forward goes in for the Pathmaker. Sajed, he's got no way out. Triple kill for Yeon. Even when Disguised finds a good play, Team Liquid find one better.
Yeah, it is the lone bright spot, the fact that Sajed got about a 900 gold shutdown there off of Jose, so that's something. But of course, TL gets that much more. Yeon gets 3 kills. TL picks up so many and are now pushing in as well here. Going to be able to deny more minions, take more plates, and extend that gold lead almost back up to the 4K where it was earlier.
Disguised, they brought the extra man down. They had what looked good, but it just wasn't.
I'm gonna keep going then.
No,
Kai'Sa coming, Kai'Sa coming.
no defect.
She got through. Coming slowly. Coming. I'm coming. Chase the upside. Chase the upside.
Okay. Naafiri,
Yes,
Kai'Sa no
I'm coming.
flash.
Yeah, she can't behind. Coming. Kai'Sa has flash no.
Yeah.
Yone need to come down.
Kai'Sa flash. All the flash, guys. All the flash.
I'm going behind. I'm going behind.
Everyone no flash it.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh,
Nice.
yummy.
Good comms. I mean, they're just talking through summoners, talking about how they want to fight it. And pretty calm, pretty clear. TL clearly in control of this one. 3.5K the gold lead. DSG at least keeping it within striking distance. You know, one good team fight. Maybe they can claw it back a bit here. It is going to be Chemtech Soul, which isn't the greatest, of course, for TL, but it is still a Soul, and they have those 2 early dragons. Have been definitely in control of most of the objectives and really in control of the map overall.
And to be fair to Chemtech Soul, I feel like K'Sante is one of the best users in League of Legends of that Soul, just because it benefits you when you're on low health. You've got the shielding and the healing from the little drakes themselves, so could still be very scary stuff. We still have 3 on the Team Liquid side who have not died a single time in Morgan, Yeon, and CoreJJ. Josedeodo's 1 death came from trading it for 4 kills. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, I think he'll take that deal most times, as 4,000 gold is the lead. 30 seconds until the next Drake spawns. Team Liquid should have total control over the area, but you can see some pings from the Disguise side in the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, you can. And you can see some pretty big gold leads, obviously, but also the experience differentials. Jose's about to hit 13. KryRa is still 11.5. Yeon is over a full level ahead of Sajed. Really across the board, there are some pretty big experience differentials, more than a full lead for Morgan as well. You know, Quid is a little bit less than half a level, so TL definitely having the advantage, but DSG trying to set up for this dragon, see if they can take the objective bounty away and stop this move towards Soul.
Yeah, here comes a TP from DSG, and Team Liquid's ready to follow it up themselves. Immediate scout of the week on to Callme. Quid could be under a little bit of pressure as Disguise try to fight back, but Lyonz has already been killed. Srtty trapped inside the Cataclysm. Callme going into the back line yet again, but once more the scout of the week finds the target. Srtty on the run, KryRa doing the same, but they won't be able to get their AD carry out of trouble. Sajed is dead, and here comes Yeon looking for a little bit more. Srtty and KryRa will manage to escape. But that went exactly how I expected it to go. Disguised, they feel the pressure. They try to fight TL. They try to stop the Drake stacking, but instead they lose 3 for free. And now, since 21 minutes, 40 seconds is what reads the clock, it's time for Bear and TL. They'll take their soul point and they'll walk over, claim the other objective on the other side of the map.
I mean, TL are just playing so well, man. Every single game, it is nearly flawless. It is feeling like this team is just team fighting better, is laning better, is coordinating better, is advancing the game at such a quick pace as well when they get advantages. It is really, really impressive stuff here. As this initial hook from Lyonz made me think there was a real chance onto Quid, but part of the problem is, like, not everyone is there to actually follow up. Not everyone is in position. Yone is coming in on the TP. There's the hook, but he gets scattered right as he arrives. So look at that CC onto Callme. He can never follow up because it was scatter on arrival into Leona stun, and then Quid is able to dodge away there from the ultimate as he comes in. And then this was just desperation for sajed, going into the middle of everyone with the killer instinct to try to make it happen. You know, the hook was good. Had Callme been able to actually just mash R and get that off as he arrived, maybe they win the fight.
Team Liquid just haven't taken their foot off the gas from minute one. And speaking of gas, we're going to their arena in Atlanta, Georgia, October 3rd and 4th. That's the destination for finals. I'm telling you what, right now, Ezreal, if Team Liquid doesn't make it there, I will be flabbergasted. This squad is playing like they are hungry for another LCS title, and they are certainly doing good work to get themselves there, as Morgan now in the middle of a potential 5-man play from DSG. He tries to take the all-out to get himself away, fights for a second, but DSG committed everything, going for that pick onto the K'Sante, which means the rest of TL is just going to be pushing the other lanes. True Shot Barrage attempted to cancel the backs there, does only end up hitting Srtty, who was staying to push the tier 1 there in the top lane, grab the objective bounty, but this still should buy enough time for Team Liquid to do some meaningful damage here to the base of DSG. The Enchanted Cannon minion over in mid doing most of the work there. Onto the turret is Callme, executed by the Unleashed Power with the Yone dead. That is big. Huge green light there for Team Liquid to continue pushing forward now. Mid lane inhibitor does die to the enchanted minions. Now that inhibitor bottom is going to be your next target. Both inhibs about to collapse 24 minutes into the game. TL still pushing, gonna go ahead to decide and take their recalls now. Morgan is respawning but doesn't quite have the TP. I feel like if Morgan's TP timer is ready, you just go to end the game right there. Josedeodo will be caught by the dredge line there at the very end, flashes over the wall, trying to stay alive. KryRa ready to chase.
Blast cone.
Going after that Jarvan, but there's the empowered blast cone. There's Hounds Pursuit to stop it! And Josedeodo just sat that dog down. KryRa's lucky to get away, but that was beautiful from Jose.
The timing on the flag and drag to interrupt the ultimate damage coming through from Naafiri and then almost kills him. That was insane from Jose. So well played. And TL cracked the base, take 2 inhibs. This is nuts, man. I thought he was completely out. Then the ulti comes through, and he knows he is dead if that connects, so he has to interrupt the Naafiri ult with his flag and drag. Times it perfectly.
I'm fine.
You fluent?
Oh.
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 Oh. Oh. Wow. I'm ulting here.
Fine. Guys,
I'm fine. That was beautiful. That was perfect. We felt
Says it
the
all.
same way watching it. Josedeodo, man. This guy is just so good at the game as he and the rest of the Team Liquid squad pushing up here in this top lane. Now Morgan's going to provide additional pressure over in mid. Remember, the super minions already spawned and marching in mid and bot lane both. Yeon gets jumped on, but immediately tries to get a little bit more distance. Shut down by sajed, but he has to trade his own life for it. Now CoreJJ getting away. The Fate Seal chasing after the Leona, who does escape with a blast cone yet again. Team Liquid, they trade a 1-for-1 there in a 4v5 as Morgan still pushing into the enemy base, does crash the super minions into the Nexus turrets. Honestly, if you're DSG, you're happy for any sort of an even trade. KryRa jumps over the wall, but Morgan's ready and waiting. Doesn't quite find him with the Pathmaker or the third in Topho strike. So KryRa will be able to secure those wolves as Team Liquid resets.
Yeah, KryRa needs every bit of experience that he can get. 4 levels down on Morgan, who has so much armor. I mean, just look at the build, right? You are basically playing full physical at this point. You know, there's a little bit of magic damage here and there, but Morgan is just a brick wall. He's on full armor items, about to complete his 3rd, plus he already has the steel caps for a long time, and he is just going to be nearly impossible to take out.
Yeah, sajed and Callme both splash magic damage, right? But still, you're up against a 3 frontliner composition, and you're very far behind. Jose has his steel caps plus his Guardian Angel now completed. Morgan has steel caps plus 3 massive armor items. CoreJJ is Leona, so that kind of just speaks for itself. This front line is impossible to damage for DSG.
Yep.
The only way to win is to try to get those kills onto Yeon or onto Quid, who have each died a single time so far this game. And now that Team Liquid has claimed the Chemtech Soul alongside that 5,000 gold lead, you got to be thinking they're just looking to end the game.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets that much harder at this point. You can see KryRa was over stealing enemy wolves, trying to get whatever gold he can. Srtty as well, as they know this could be the final defense here. They got to watch out for these scatters, though. Quid has just been laser focused and hitting scatter after scatter after scatter.
And there's another one. Third and Tofo strike ready to follow it up, but Lyonz uses the dredge line to get himself away. Survived for now. Solar Flare from Core was also used, but didn't find the target. As Team Liquid focusing on that first Nexus turret, about to take it down, and yes, sir, it's gone. DSG still looking for their moment. They know they're going to have to pick one soon. Lyonz goes in for the dredge line. Quid may be caught. This may be what DSG needs, but they don't have the damage. They can't complete the assassination. Quid and CoreJJ both damaged, but both still going. DSG, have they held the line for now? They've got to be so careful, though. If they overextend just a little, Team Liquid is so far ahead, they could easily turn, but the Baron is spawning in 15 seconds. So as Team Liquid exit, you can see them using their sweepers, laying down wards as they go, controlling the vision in the jungle of Disguised. So if DSG try to do anything around the Baron, TL will be ready. As you can see the teleport from Quid back into the mid lane. He went back to base, he healed back up, he did his shopping. Baron is spawned, Josedeodo is already in the area, clearing out vision.
Yep, going to be trying to reclaim as much vision in this area as he possibly can. I don't really see much of a chance of actually contesting this Baron, though. TL have been so good about their Baron takes. They're not going for any sort of 50-50s, and they are going to move up here, clear out vision. They have a lot of wards in this area. 3 wards, 4 wards across that enemy jungle. Morgan pushing up mid. They see the Yone bot, so this is going to be uncontested, and I think that's correct from DSG. I feel like at this point in this kind of game, your only real hope, and it is a very small one, is trying to steal Elder, right? So you show up for Elder, you hope that TL just try to burn it down, you can somehow steal it, and you can somehow fluke out a fight,
That's the YOLO, right?
That's basically your real shot. So besides that, they're just going to stay in the base, try to hold on as much as they can here, but it is 2 open inhibs, and it is 2 members still out on the map, so DSG going to lose this tower in a hurry.
Exactly. Those inhibs just now respawning, but are still vulnerable alongside this third one here at the top side as the last tier 3 turret falls for DSG. Team Liquid still have their Red Bull Baron for another 2.5 minutes. They take out the top lane inhib, and they can just easily walk this through the entire base of Disguised. Lion going in here with a dredge line as Quid gets tagged there, and immediately it's followed up by Sajed. The ultimate wombo combo with Nautilus. Kai'Sa finds the first kill. Now Sajed using stasis, trying to stay alive. Solar Flare's going to force that one, and Sajed will already die. Now all out. Morgan's ready to go all in. KryRa in danger as Josedeodo traps 3 inside the Cataclysm with a 3-man knockup coming in from Morgan. It's all too easy for Team Liquid. Quid is the sacrificial lamb, but the sacrifice pays off. A triple kill for Josedeodo, 21-5. Team Liquid made quick work of Disguise.
Man, they are just looking a little too good. 21-5, crazy Game 1 dominance from TL.
Did you expect anything else, Emily?
No.